Takeoff's accused killer has been released on $1 million bond. What up, world? Your boy Challz Brown back again, talking facts. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit that notification bell. Okay, my eyes bugged out, as probably many other people, when the news broke that the person alleged killer of Takeoff was released on $1 million bond. Now I'm sitting here like, what in the world is going on? I mean, we just letting people out. I seen mad people still in jail that ain't even up for murder, being held on RICO charges and things like that. But we letting this guy out on $1 million bond. Let me just put it like this, right? I'm gonna read the story to you, and we're gonna have a little discussion, and we're gonna have a conversation about what is happening right now. This is the article in Rolling Stone, and it's going to have a little more detail than what I'm going to give you, so we can both have more information. During a December 28th hearing, Clark's legal team, who is the Patrick Clark, who is better known as DJ Pat in Houston, who was running with Jay Prince Jr.'s infamous Mob Ties team, right? During a December 28th hearing, Clark's legal team argued against the excessive bail, which was reduced to $1 million after an initial $2 million was first ordered. The judge in the case denied a further reduction to $300,000, so they just want to get it down to nothing. While Clark's lawyers, who said their client couldn't afford the bail, could have appealed the amount again, KHOU reports that Clark instead posted the $1 million bond, securing his release from Harris County Jail until his murder trial begins. TMZ adds that as part of his bail conditions, Clark must remain under house arrest and wear a GPS monitoring device, as well as not have any communication with anyone involved in the murder, including Takeoff's family and Houston-based music exec Jay Prince. The 33-year-old Clark has pled not guilty to the murder charges against him. Part of the reason the judge initially handed down the large $2 million bond is that at the time of his arrest, prosecutors believed that Clark was attempting to leave for Mexico after getting an expedited passport and acquiring a large amount of money. However, Clark's lawyer, Letitia Quinones, said her client wasn't trying to go nowhere. Clark was arrested based on a reviewed video evidence of the November 1st, 2022 shooting outside of a Houston bowling alley that showed whose physical positioning aligned with the angle at which Takeoff was struck before collapsing to the ground. Clark was held at the time of the incident. Wait a minute. I don't have it's coming off the screen. Clark was holding a champagne bottle at the time of the incident and left it at the crime scene, which allowed authorities to match his fingerprint. So let me just talk about this. We just heard a whole lot in one article. We heard that this guy was allegedly trying to run. How you get a bond if you tried to run? His lawyer's doing her job. She says he's not trying to go nowhere, but he has a large amount of money and an expedited passport, not a regular expedited passport. You got to pay more money, and you got to that's a rush. That means I'm going somewhere in a rush. I need it now. This dude probably never had a passport in his life, never wanted one. Now you got an expedited passport and a big bag of money, and they said also in another article, they didn't say it in this one, that he had a Mexican itinerary of where he wanted to be and go. Now, you could say maybe he was going on vacation. Maybe he was, right? But after this murder, you got an expedited passport? So you needed that vacation that bad. So let me put it like this. I also heard that in a different article that his parents put their house up for the bail. And I don't know much about what else they have on this guy. But I do know that a lot of other people for a lot less were not given bail, and especially didn't get $1 million of bail to get out, right? It's kind of weird to me that the highest profile case in the country for as far as entertainers, there's not one higher than this, right? There's not a case higher than this. PNB Rock, that's already you don't see them with no bail, right? And that's a different state. I get it, but YNW Melly, he don't have no bail. How is this situation warranting a bail of any amount? Now maybe Houston's different, but I don't understand how they're telling you we have fingerprints on the bottle. We have video footage of him in the direct line of fire. The only person that we feel like could have been the shooter is this guy, based on the positioning of the video, and not to mention all of the other video shoots and things they have scenes of what happened that night. It ain't but so many people it could have been, right? With that being said, there's really only one or two reasons I could think that they want to let him out, and this is the realest thing I could tell you right now. And it has nothing to do with me spilling any beans of the case or anything like that. But in my opinion, they waiting for him to mess up and contact somebody else and do something dumb, and somebody else gonna be sitting in that jail with him. Right? In my opinion, this is all conjecture, speculation. I have no reason to believe these things other than my own common sense. There is no reason to allow this man to have bail. Now, it could be the discretion of the judge, but I believe that the odds of a judge letting someone out who everything points to this person as being the killer, right? Now, we could be wrong. It could be somebody else. That's why the day in court is for. But a lot of guys don't get out to wait for that day in court. That court date could be next year. Now, let's say he didn't do it. God bless him. Then he get out and he gets to await his trial in a more comfortable lifestyle, right? But let's say he did and he runs. Now you got him on the run. He already tried to run the first time, right? Now, if his parents' house is up for whatever, I would assume that most guys not going to run and get their parents' home taken from them because they ran and jumped bail, right? So let's just say the odds of him trying to do that, if they indeed put their house up, would be a very selfish thing to do. So I don't think a guy would do that to his parents. But I don't understand why, other than, like I said, they want to, when you put the cheese down for like some type of critter that you're watching, you want to see what it does. You set down bait. So in a case like this, when you know that there are bigger fish and you don't have all the information you want, just like with Young Thug's Rico case, they got to snatch up more people and get them talking so they can get the guy they really want, right? I think they might want somebody else, right? I think they might want somebody else, and this is more to say in this situation. So you let him out. He go start making phone calls and shooting text messages to people, tightening up a few things, and you're watching all of it, and you're listening to all of it. So I don't know to say for sure. It could have been just the judge said let him out, right? They reduced his bond. They tried to get it down twice. Maybe it was just the way the justice system works in Houston, and they just wanted to be like, you know what? $1 million is excessive. Enough. If he can put that up, then send him home. I really don't understand why they would allow bond for someone who, let's just say, if this is really the case, you showed no mercy to this man. This was a very violent crime. And if this is who the person you think did that crime, pulled out a weapon, a man that wasn't even fighting, this guy wasn't even a threat in the slightest. He wasn't even looking at this guy. And you callously shot him in the back of his head and ran off or walked off. That is a very heinous individual. And I don't know why you would give that person a chance to be on the street, to go straighten out whatever else he need to straighten out and find out who knows what and whatever else, right? In my opinion. Now, I always say on these videos, I'm not a person who, I don't believe in jail for people. I'm not a proponent. I don't wish jail on nobody, right? But sometimes that's where you belong when you can't live in polite society amongst other people and behave like a human being, when you can't settle a dispute without pulling out a gun and putting it to the back of somebody's head. That's not a person that's fit for society. Whoever did it, even whether it was DJ Paddle, whoever else did it, that's not a person who deserves a seat at the table of our society. And I don't think, if that's indeed what anybody done, they should deserve any kind of bail. On the flip side, there's a lot of people trying to get rid of bail altogether. So imagine that. No bail, they charge you, you get out, go home, no matter what the case is. That's what some people want too. Now, I don't think they want murderers out. But why? If you don't want bail, why would you try to pick and choose? Because you don't know if that guy really did the murder. So if you don't want bail, then everybody get out, right? It's a slippery slope, in my opinion. I feel like some people stay in there because they want them to talk. And some people stay in there because the crime, like YNW Melly, the crime is so heinous that they're like, nah, you're not getting out. Even though he's still awaiting trial. He hasn't had a trial yet. I think Melly been in there about 3-4 years, maybe probably 5. I don't know how long he been, but it's been a while. Still no trial, if I'm not mistaken. So in my opinion, I feel like some people get that bail, but I think sometimes it's different reasons they give it to him. Right? You saw Gunna didn't come home till he said, I did it. And I'm a cop to it, and I just want to go home. I'll tell you whatever you need to hear. And there's a whole bunch I'm following them, right? Till they said what needed to be said. Now, this case, I'm truly perplexed. I don't know why they gave this guy bail. I really don't. And I get it. Murderers get bail too. Whether you did it or not is up to the court to decide. I really don't know why he got this bail. $1 million, $2 million, I don't understand. It's a high-profile case. Only thing I could tell you is I feel like they want to follow him somewhere and have him slip up. But if he's any kind of person off the streets, he already know what's happening. So I ain't breaking no news. Like, he already know. They already told him he can't contact this guy. So if you contact them, then that's on them. All right? Let me know what you think in the comments, man. CLBMG. I don't really get into a lot of street politics. I'm talking about entertainment right now. This is a very beloved hip-hop artist, and I do hip-hop news, right? I really don't follow I don't do a lot of street commentary, because that's not what this channel is about. But I just wanted to speak on this because I feel like some of the things that we go through as a people is unnecessary. And a lot of these rules we starting to lay out for ourselves are nowhere. They're going nowhere fast, right? A lot of these things we do in the street, somebody make you mad, you pull out a pistol, this and that. Like, we can't use our words, bro, right? Everything is pistols now. We got to shoot you and kill you, take you off the earth, take you from your family, and then we got to try to beat the case. It's sucker shit to me. And I'm going to catch y'all on that flip side. Peace.
CLB.